I'll be reacting to Stephanie's video on the buccal fat removal trend.
I happened to be on the internet as I do, and all these articles started popping up and I was like, what the heck?
I've seen that too, and actually many of the articles linked to our YouTube video, so check that out on buccal fat removal that we did sometime within the last year. We made a video on why I stopped doing buccal fat removal surgery, and people found it interesting, and now with the recent trend and people are like linking back to that video, so check it out.
This trend that I am noticing is not only alarming, but disturbing. Have you guys seen the celebrities that had rather regular, normal looking human faces, and then all of a sudden their cheekbones and jawlines were chiseled AF, and you were like, what the heck happened to you? Is it just me? It seems to me that there is no end to society's unrealistic beauty standards and no end to the amount of tweakments and cosmetic surgeries that we as women can have performed on us in order to change our appearances to better suit this unrealistic beauty standard.
Yeah, and these trends, they're fleeting, yet the surgical results are permanent. We'll talk a bit later about whether it's possible to reverse a buccal fat removal surgery if she doesn't cover that, but we'll see what she says first.
But buccal fat removal, this is going too far.
Buccal, it's all the same thing,
in my opinion. So if you guys haven't heard of it yet and you haven't seen all these articles and videos and Twitters and whatevers, what the heck is buccal fat removal and why is everyone suddenly getting it done? So buccal fat removal is essentially removing the fat from your cheeks, but more specifically, it is the surgical removal of the buccal fat pad that we naturally have between our cheekbones and our jawlines. According to a plastic surgery clinic here in Australia, the buccal fat reduction surgery aims to correct prominent or chubby cheeks.
So something to keep in mind is that the fat compartment, the buccal fat compartment, is actually located fairly deep, and it's deeper than most other facial fat compartments. So there is some relevance to that as far as the reversal. And again, we'll cover that later, but let's keep going.
Buccal fat removal surgery is usually completed within an hour, so nice and quick and simple, and only costs between $2,000 and $5,000 depending on where you go.
Well, if you saw the New York Times article, there's one surgeon who says that it costs $40,000. So, there is a wide range there.
Money well spent. Now, why the heck would anyone spend that kind of money to hollow out their face? I genuinely don't know.
There is, of course, the money question, right? But more importantly, it's a permanent change to your face that you can't undo. So I think that's the bigger issue, more so than the money.
I think it is to make you appear more like high fashion, more refined, more mature. And it works. Like, to be fair, it does look more high fashion, but that does not mean that it suits everyone. Some of us do happen to be born with...
And remember, what looks good now may not look good in 10 years, 15 years. The buccal fat pad is fat that doesn't reduce and change over time. It actually stays very consistent, and that's what many MRI studies have shown over the years. The rest of the fat in our face tends to atrophy and reduce. That's why people get fat transferred to the face, coupled with facelifts and things like that later in life. So if you're removing fat that is actually going to be with you for a long, long time, what happens later on is that then the face just overall looks way too hollow and gaunt. And that's the problem with the buccal fat removal over time.
With rounder faces, fuller cheeks. And if you go and remove the fat there, it just looks kind of weird. Now look, I am 34, okay? So I remember the good old days of when Mary-Kate and Ashley, for example, would apparently say prune when they were getting their photos taken to create that hollowed out high fashion cheekbone look. Because back in my day, that's what we did for photos. We would just like suck in our cheeks to look more model-esque. But of course, nowadays, that's simply not good enough. Now we have to go the whole hog and literally pay a surgeon to surgically remove the fat underneath our cheekbones to give us that look. But why? Why are we like this? And what the heck was wrong with our faces before this was a thing?
And remember, this is a surgery that's not without risks. There are important neurovascular structures within the buccal space that can be injured. And so if you're a person who is thinking about getting the surgery, make sure to check out our video that covers some of the risks associated with the surgery. No one seems to ever talk about the risks. It's always like, should I pay for the surgery? Should I not pay for the surgery? What about the risks of having a major problem if you get the surgery? How about, let's talk about that for once.
Buccal fat in your cheeks. When was that deemed an issue that needed correcting? Now let's look at some famous examples of people that are alleged to have undergone this tweakment. I just find it really fascinating and alarming. So Bella Hadid is of course the main offender. She is long rumored to have undergone buccal fat removal, and to be fair, I do believe it. Bella is definitely going for that high fashion look, anyone can see that. And when you look at her older pictures, Bella, like her sister Gigi, naturally had a beautiful...
There's something so much softer and more approachable about this photo on the left, removal of the buccal fat and cheek augmentation compared to her appearance now, but maybe that is the high fashion look, whatever the heck that means.
Had a beautiful full face. What was wrong with her face before? Nothing. She was so beautiful.
I agree with Stephanie.
She still is, but she was already. Then there's Zoe Kravitz, actress and model and daughter of my personal favorite, Lisa Bonet, born with naturally stunning bone structure. Absolute babe of this world, but where the heck have her cheeks gone? Then there's Sophie Turner. What has happened here? Has she just aged? Has she lost weight? I mean, I don't think so. She's only 26 and she's always been tall and slim, so where have her cheeks disappeared to? Leah Michelle, once the proud owner of a face with buccal fat, now is no longer. Incinerated in a cosmetic surgeon's dungeon. Tell me I'm not the only one that liked Leah Michelle's face with her buccal fat intact. Yes, she looks glamorous and high fashion now, but she was a natural stunner before too. Isa Gonzalez, where has your buccal fat gone? She actually already had naturally high prominent cheekbones and angular features.
Yeah, once somebody sets that trend, everyone else seems to follow suit and they all play copycat because they have to keep up, right? It's that whole game of just chasing the next big thing and staying relevant. I think that's what people are trying to do.
Features. And to be fair, in my eyes, a little buccal fat was a lovely addition to her face. Chrissy Teigen, now she is one celebrity that has actually been honest and upfront and come out and said, yeah, I had my buccal fat removed.
Yeah, and she's talked about her eyebrow hair transplant, and she's really been very open about procedures. And one day, we hope to actually do like a podcast on this channel and maybe even interview some of the celebrities who are willing to talk about their procedures and what they went through and their thought process for getting the procedure and just being open. We just feel like more people should be open about these types of changes.
Removed and what? I did that Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal thing and I like it. Good for her. If she likes it, that's the main thing. But why is it a thing in general? Why is it a thing to begin with? That's what I want to know. Amelia Hamlin, I'm not gonna lie, this one shocked me. Have you ever seen a prettier face? Her brows, her bone structure, she's so beautiful. And now, who has stolen her buccal fat? Give the girl her buccal fat.
Yeah, and look at the jaw modification on this person as well. Even her brows just looks so distorted, because she created a thinner eyebrow but very heavy brow bone, so maybe that was augmented. The cheekbones seem to have some filler or probably an implant. The jaw has an obvious implant in it. I don't know. I mean, maybe to some that's more attractive, but I think I liked where she started.
Back. Dove Cameron, her buccal fat is also missing in action. Honestly, I am concerned for the buccal fat of this world. Please tell me that...
I didn't realize so many celebrities were getting this done.
Look at Demi Moore and Madonna. In my opinion, and I could be wrong here, but I mean, it certainly looks like it, they have both had, allegedly, buccal fat removal to make themselves look more youthful and more refined and more high fashion, perhaps. But in my eyes, it's kind of had the opposite effect. They don't look younger. They don't look older. They just look different. Like, they just don't look like themselves. They don't look bad, but they don't look better. So it's like, what was the point? And another thing I think is really interesting is that back in the good old days, a fuller face was considered to be youthful and attractive and everybody wanted it. And nobody wanted to have that gaunt, hollowed out look. And now we're literally...
Well, what's going to happen is that as people start to realize that that's maybe not the best look, that kind of hollowed out look, there's going to be more fat transfer that occurs. So we're going to bring back that trend, which is popularized by Dr. Coleman, with fat transfer to the face. And so then we're going to do that, and then the faces are going to appear too big, and then we're going to go back the other way. But isn't that the case with fashion as well, right? You kind of cycle through these different trends, and something that was popular in the 80s is now coming back today, and it just kind of keeps going around in a cyclical type of manner.
Paying surgeons to create the gaunt, hollowed outlook. It's like beauty trends are just so fickle. They are always changing. So it's like you might look at these celebrities and be like, wow, they're...
But what's different about fashion is you can put on a different, pair of pants and a different shirt, and that's okay. You can't exactly reverse these surgical procedures. So let's just say you had the buccal fat removal, and now, 10 years have gone by and you're not happy with how hollowed out you look, and you're like, okay, I want to get a fat transfer, or I want to get some filler. You can't put filler or fat deep into that compartment where you remove the buccal fat. So any changes that you make into the cheek area is always going to be into the more superficial compartment. So it's never going to look quite the same.
Cheekbones look amazing. I'm going to book in with my closest cosmetic surgeon and have my buccal fat taken out. But let me leave you with this. Beauty trends clearly come and go. And what the heck are we going to do if in 5 years' time, after we have had our buccal fat removed, then suddenly fuller faces, that cherubic, angelic, youthful look is back in, and everybody wants a full face and full cheeks, but you've already had your buccal fat surgically removed and incinerated. What are you going to do then? No doubt they'll start offering buccal fat augmentations where you can have buccal fat injected into your cheeks, and then we'll all start paying.
Well, no, it'll be, as I mentioned, actual filler or fat transfer that is then offered, but it's not going to be an exact replacement of what was removed, because again, you're going from a deep compartment where you've removed stuff, and now you're placing things into a superficial compartment. So that's going to give you a very different appearance.
Paying for that. But why, my friends, are we doing this to ourselves? Changing our God-given...
To stand out, right? I mean, that's why people are doing it in the first place. They want to do something to make themselves look different. People are trying to find that unique little thing, right? And for some people, that really helps, it benefits their careers, because now, look at this model. She looks so interesting and different, so they're going to get, maybe a better contract.
Given genetic looks we were born with to have for the rest of our lives to suit the current beauty standard, for what? And aside from that, and more importantly, even though the surgery only takes an hour and only costs between $2,000 and $5,000, it, like any cosmetic surgery, comes with a long list of potential risks that I think everybody should be aware of if this is...
Watch our video. It covers all of the potential risks of the surgery. There's a wonderful comment on our buccal fat removal video from about a year ago. Lizette wrote, "Buccal fat saved my life, teeth and face. Had someone accidentally shoot me in the face. The bullet entered my smile line, tunneled in my cheek, shattered my jaw, and exited behind my ear. Other than a tiny dimple in my smile line, you can't tell anything happened. I love my buccal fat." So I thought that was like a really heartwarming message from Lizette, and we pinned it on our video. And, I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Buccal fat, it's not a bad thing. So consider keeping it and not getting it cut out. All right. See you guys.